Hello everyone, I am very excited today because right next to me is the Lynk Co 01 with the facelift from year 2023. I know, it's been ages since I've been not able to review a Lynk Co car, and I have a lot to tell you about it. This brings me down to a very big question. Does it destroy the Audi Q3 and the BMW X1? Well, already it's pushing its sibling model, the Volvo XC40, into the shadows. Now, this is my way of saying that the Volvo XC40 has a rather discreet image, whereas when we look at this Lynk Co 01, it definitely stands out on the road. But you want to know a funny thing? I actually thought it was a Kia Sportage when I first saw it years ago. Now, I had the chance of driving the Lynk Co 01, the pre-facelift version, and I have to say it's one of the best cars I've ever driven. And there are my reasons, but then at the same time, it's not all pink roses. So make sure you push the subscribe button and push the notification button for my other reviews. And of course, you can check the link in the description for my car review of the Volvo XC40 and the other models from the Geely Group, be it Volvo, be it Polestar, be it Lotus, and of course the competitors against this bad boy over here, like the Audi Q3 and the BMW X1. Alrighty, what are we waiting for? Let's get on with the review right now. Before we go further, I want to talk to you all a little bit about my encounter with Lynk Co cars. So one day I was driving on the highway and there was a Lynk Co behind me. But at very first glance, I thought it was someone driving a modified Kia Sportage. That's literally the thought I had. When I'm talking about the Kia Sportage from the late 2010s and very early 2020s, before the new generation was released. So that was when they had the lighting right next to the bonnets. But then when that car drove past me, I was like, what? It's written Lynk Co. I thought this was somebody with a custom design, or I thought this was a custom brand modifying cars. But then I did some research and I found out that it's actually a Chinese or Swedish car manufacturer. How amazing is that? Now, Lynk Co is part of the Geely Group, so it shares the same components as the Volvo XC40, and it's based in Sweden, so we call it a Swedish-Chinese company, which is very cool, by the way. So if we look at the front design, they've maintained a rather Porsche style bonnet, so I like how the lightings are on the side, like this with the line, but it kind of is a resemblance to what they've been doing with the Zeekr. Now, I will have a chance to review the Zeekr cars very soon. Make sure you've subscribed and push the notification button so that you can watch my car review of the Zeekr cars once they are released here in Belgium. It's very exciting, everyone. I'm very excited. Now, I like how they have the split headlights. So you have lighting over here and then the lighting over there. They've started doing the same thing on the Lotus cars as well. I also spotted something similar on Polestar cars. Very nice. And then you have the grille over here, and I just see you have a 360-degree parking camera with parking sensors at the front and at the rear. And when you sit behind the wheel, you will see those lights from the driver's seat, and this is very nice, so that you get to see if the indicators are in action, so whether you turn to the left or whether you turn to the right. I like it. Now, earlier I've mentioned how it feels like the Lynk Co 01 pushes the Volvo XC40 in the shadows. Now, I meant it in the context of design, because when it comes to sales, it is undeniable that the Volvo XC40 is one of the most popular crossover SUVs out in the automotive industry. There's no question over there. But when it comes to design, the Lynk Co 01 is something more memorable. Now, when it comes to exterior design, I really like how for this particular Lynk Co, you have the body paint over here, but the roof is in black. And I always liked this design over here. It's really interesting. It's kind of a bit like what Stellantis has been doing. Now, I'm going to be very honest. I'm not a fan of the facelifted alloy wheels they offer on the Lynk Co. I prefer the pre-facelift versions. I liked the wheels they had, where one of the spokes would have the body paint on it and the other spokes would have the normal alloy. Now, those rear lights are quite interesting. They kind of remind me of what I've also noticed on the Zeekr cars, but that's based on the photos. This particular Lynk Co 01 is a plug-in hybrid, so it competes directly against the Audi Q3 and the BMW X1, so just like the Volvo XC40 basically. But I see some prominent advantages is that the Lynk & Co 01 is a car to remember. It's a car that will stick out very much. Whereas the BMW X1, I literally confused it for a BMW X5 when I first saw it. But I had the chance of reviewing the Audi Q3 not too long ago, and I have to say it's one of the most promising crossover SUVs in its segment, and it's actually one of the best. But their Lynk & Co 01 also has one extra advantage. It costs only 48,000 euros. So for a price of 48,000 euros, I'm already starting to smell value for money. Before we check the interior, let's listen to the sound of the door. Let's hear if it's Volvo-ish. Okay, whenever I close it, maybe it has this Volvo tone to it, maybe, I'm not sure. But whenever I open it, it sounds like it's a water drop or something. Listen to this. I don't know, it sounds like for a second there's some water drop. Now let's listen to the back door. Okay, when you close the back door, it has this prominent sound, but it's hard to tell if it's Volvo-ish because I've noticed Volvo cars tend to have this boom sound or something. But I've noticed this prominently on the Volvo XC90 and the EX90, whereas when it comes to Volvo crossovers and the smaller models, it's hard to tell. But the back door very much has a Volvo sound to it. Listen to this. Oh my goodness. You hear that little boom before it opened. That was exactly the same sound I heard on the Volvo EX90 and the XC90. There's always this boom before it opens. And let's listen to when it closes. Right. I think there's going to be a... Well, because it's automated, maybe there won't be a... Yes! Yes! Yes, yes, that was the sound. Oh my gosh, this is so welcoming. I opened the door, I'm already greeted with some cool stuff over here. Nice leather seats which have this green stitching detail to them. They look sporty, and yet this is not even a sporty trim level, and it only costs 48,000 euros. Now, if I'm being honest, this is something Stellantis would also do. Let's take a seat in this Volvo. Oh my gosh, did I just call this a Volvo? It feels like a Volvo. Oh my gosh. This Lynk & Co 01. Now you get electric seating adjustment and seating memory. And for the interior, the way it's designed, it looks far more premium than the Volvo XC40. The Volvo XC40, there's just something about its interior that looks budget. It just doesn't have there's just something missing about the Volvo XC40 when you compare it with competitors. Whereas the Lynk & Co, it just feels a touch premium, everyone. The steering wheel is nice to hold on to. It's pleasant. And I had the chance of driving the Lynk & Co myself, and I have to say it's really, really smooth steering right there. The transmission is really interesting. I like how you get this knob over here. Thank goodness they don't put the transmission onto the steering wheel. It's pretentious in my opinion. Now you also get the pad over here, the charging pad. You get your parking brake over there, that's electric, 2 cup holders, and you get also your central console storage, which is adjustable. That's very nice. Now to open this glove box over there, I'm assuming you have to push a button that's onto the infotainment system. Oh no, there's a button right here. Nice, fair enough. That's great. The door bin is really good, but then at the same time the door bin is actually good for its segment. It's average. If I remember correctly, all 4 windows are automated, otherwise it's great. And then also you get your button over there to open the fuel cap and the charging port for your plug-in hybrid. This is excellent. Now, one thing I really like about the Lynk & Co 01 would be the digital instrument cluster. It is really, really nice. Speaking of infotainment system, we have to look at the infotainment system together, but already one thing that I'm not exactly a fan of is the fact that every button is onto the infotainment system now. There's no physical button over here, quite literally. They've simplified this whole area. So that's not exactly something I'm a fan of, because on the pre-facelift version, I still like how you had some physical buttons and you even had driving mode somewhere here. And now they've moved everything onto the screen. So it's a very similar philosophy as what I've seen on the Polestar models and the Lotus models and even Volvo. Now, this would likely also compete against the Peugeot 5008, which is a French way of saying 5008. Now, already I see you get dual zone climate control and you even get heated seats. It's, wait, maybe let's start the car. Because it should be noted this vehicle is in showroom mode, so I might not be able to show everything to you all. Okay, so I'm trying to activate the heated seats, but I can't seem to do it. However, it should be noted that they've changed the instrument cluster, because I'm very sure that on the previous generation, the instrument details were a bit bigger, whereas here, it's slightly the same size as what I've seen in Polestar and Volvo cars and even Lotus. So they've simplified it for mostly the warning lights and wait, let's try again because they just offed it. There we go. So it seems like it's mostly for your speed and everything, and the revs, and also the charging. So whenever you push the brakes, it shows you when it's charging itself. That's the kind of detail I liked. Now, when I drove the Lynk Co. 1, the charging, the hybrid system, when you stick to hybrid mode, from what I remember, the car, even though you're driving on the highway, the car loves to stick to the electric motor. And because from my experience, when I drove the Hondas and the Toyotas, the hybrid system they have is not really a plug-in. It's more like just hybrid. So it charges automatically with the brakes. It abandons the electric motor when you're on the highway. So I guess that's the thing about plug-ins. The plug-in system likes to stick to the electric motor for most times possible until it runs out of electricity. Let's explore the menu. Let's check out the menu. So it's like your tablet, but I just love how presentable it is. You get a 360-degree camera. Wow. Okay, for that, the car has to be in action, but this car is in showroom mode, so I'm not exactly sure I can do this anytime soon. Let's check the map. Okay, so the mapping is really, really nice. It's responsive, but perhaps it's okay. I think it's a little too responsive, guys. It's a bit too hyper, but then I'm sure that can be adjusted. And if not, it's not a big deal, actually. Now, let's just take a look at the detail. Now, this car is inside a showroom, so it's likely because of that, it's activated in night mode, because everything seems to be in night mode for some reason. I've noticed that the Volkswagen Group, they offer better details on the map. They show you the mountains, the rivers in detail and everything. Whereas BMW has better engagement for the infotainment system. So they have a swivel wheel over here to control the infotainment system. And on the pre-facelift version, there was a swivel wheel over here for your volume control. Now, over here, there's literally nothing to control the infotainment system. You have to touch the screen. So in long terms, you'll see fingerprints all over it. So you just might want to keep a little cloth to keep it clean, if you want, you see. Otherwise, this infotainment system has live update about traffic. So it's just like Google Maps to a certain extent. It's really good system, I tell you. I'm not a fan of it. I think BMW and Mercedes and Audi offer a more interesting system, but this system gets the job done, and it's very engaging, by the way. It's, whoa, wow, this is really nice. And the thing I like about the Volkswagen Group is that they show you the forests and the built-up areas. This car also shows you the forest and the built-up areas. So there is no compromise. And I forgot to mention to you all, you also get a panoramic sunroof, and the hazard lights are all the way up here. Now, the last time I saw this was in a Peugeot from the 2000s, guys. And even Renault as well would do something similar to this. So it's I wonder, why did they put the hazard lights all the way up there? This is a very non-conventional system. And now I'm going to check out the rear seat, but before I do so, I just want to admire how there's just something about the Lynk & Co cars I always found interesting. I just admire how straight this door is, you see? And this is very good because whenever I open the door, sometimes there tends to be sharp edges on certain cars which can go very close to your neck or to your face or to your chest, whereas here there's no risk, you see? I just open the door and it slides past you. Now it's time to check out the rear seats of the Lynk & Co 01 facelift. Alright, so one thing I really like is the seating. First of all, the seat feels a bit on the firm side, but at the same time there's a squeeginess to it, so it's very good. Now it's a bit firm, a bit on the sporty setting, and the headrest is a bit like a brick wall. The legroom is plentiful. Now this can depend on the seating adjustment of the driver and the front seat passenger. Knee room is good, but the back of the seats are very firm, so just be very aware of this. The headroom though is plentiful. It's one of the best in this segment, guys. I'm very, very impressed. This is very nice. Now you also get some air vents over there, and you get some charging ports over there. The door bin is small, maybe below average. I'm not exactly sure about that, but the armrest is really nice. You get two cup holders over here, and it's very squidgy. I like the leather material you get. There's just something about the ambience of this interior that feels premium. I like this premium touch you get over here. Now over to the boot space, it's very similar to my experience with the Audi Q3, the new generation, given the fact that it has this crossback design. Well, crossback I meant in the sense the above area is diagonal, whereas with the BMW X1, it has this boxy shape to it. But over here, if I'm not mistaken, you get additional storage space, which is very good. This is where you have your plug-in system. See, for your plug-in hybrid, the wires. And then over here, the floor is flat. You get this metallic plating under this blue cover. This is very nice. And then the body paint sticks out quite proudly. So you just have to be careful when loading luggages in and out. You just want to be careful not to scratch the body paint accidentally. But otherwise, I see potentials. I really like this boot space. It's very, very handy. Now, there's no flexible system to fold down the rear seats from the boot space. Whereas I've noticed the Volkswagen Group, they really pride themselves with these shortcuts, especially on the Skoda Kodiaq, which has a price tag that starts from around 40,000 euros, or should I say around 50,000 euros. I'm not 100% sure, but the Volkswagen Group, they tend to have these shortcuts, practicality systems. They're more detailed in this. Whereas the Lynk Co, it seems like they really prioritized the premium aspect of things. So here's my conclusion of the Lynk Co 01. Now, I'm going to confess something to you all. I think this Lynk Co 01 humiliates all its competitors, including its sibling. The Lynk Co 01 stands out more than the Volvo XC40. This Lynk Co 01 looks more stylish than the BMW X1, which already is a bit too popular on the road to a point where now it's becoming a bit of a common sight, just like the Volkswagen Tiguan never won. For the Audi Q3, it's one of the best crossover SUVs I've ever reviewed in its segment, but then the Lynk Co has just one extra advantage. The advantage being its price. 48,000 euros, everyone, whereas the Audi Q3 I reviewed was a bit more expensive than that. This Lynk Co offers value for money, whereas the Audi Q3 offers the real Audi identity. For a price of 48,000 euros, this car is something I recommend to all of you. This is one of the best plug-in hybrid crossover SUVs I've ever seen. Great value for money, it feels very premium. But if you want something more family friendly, I feel like the Volkswagen Group have the answer, like the Skoda Kodiaq or maybe Stellantis with the Peugeot 5008 for a price of 48,000 euros, give or take. Now, if you also want something a bit more premium, something that really has a strong identity, I feel like the Audi Q3 still claims the trophy in this segment. But this Lynk Co is a good all-arounder, and it still has this value for money aspect to it. I like it. I love it so much. In fact, I think I have to hug it. Oh, mamma mia. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a comment in the comment section below sharing me your thoughts of this Lynk Co 01 and what's it like compared to the Volvo XC40. Check the link in the description for my car reviews of other Geely Group cars and the potential competitors against this Lynk Co 01, competitors like the BMW X1 and the Audi Q3. And also make sure you have subscribed and push the notification button, because very soon, hopefully this year or by early next year, I will have the chance of reviewing the Zeekr models. Now, I have great interest in Zeekr cars. They really look like Lynk Co, and they have some design quirks from other Geely Group cars. So it's very, very interesting what's going to happen. This is going to be a very exciting development, everyone, and I look forward to seeing you all very, very soon. All right, I will see you all next time. Take care of yourselves.